In business news, the Chief Executive Officer of Win Corporation, Win Television's parent company, has resigned after 4 years at the helm. George Papadopoulos joined the company in 1998 and developed a thorough knowledge of the network's operations before being appointed CEO in 2004. The company has yet to announce his replacement. Regional sporting bodies have welcomed the federal government plan to curb binge drinking. Under the strategy, the Rudd government may pull public funding to groups that do not address the problem.
The federal government's $53 million national binge drinking strategy will tackle the problem in the wider community. Sporting codes may be targeted in the campaign, but sporting representatives say it's about time something was done.
Acknowledge that there's a problem there to be solved. Good on them for having a go.
At a regional level, organisations point out binge drinking is not unique to sport. Findings released by the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare found that alcohol was the most common substance of addiction in the nation. Sporting organisations say the campaign should have a wider focus.
I'd say there'd be a fair percentage of the kids out on the weekends that don't even play sport, aren't even involved in a sporting body.
Local government, state, federal government and the sporting community need to work together on the issue. It's not going to be singularly managed and moderated if there's not a whole community approach.
Many clubs have already implemented measures, such as the Good Sports program, to address binge drinking, and say the latest initiative duplicates existing standards. Representatives also point out that many regional clubs are largely run on alcohol revenue from their bars. They say the clubs that will suffer are the ones who aren't currently abiding by the standards. Soraya Lenny, Win News.
New figures from the Cancer Council show the number of Victorians affected by melanoma is at a record level. Melanomas have overtaken lung cancer and are now the fourth most commonly diagnosed cancer.
In 2005, 245 Victorians died from melanoma. Melanoma diagnoses have risen to fourth place behind prostate, bowel and breast cancer. Many of those heeding the SunSmart message have been touched by the disease.
It's very important, as my husband died of melanoma when he was 34 years old, so now our family's extra careful.
My old man's had melanomas cut out, my aunties. I think working out in the sun a lot, there's a lot of people who are going to end up that way if they don't protect themselves.
Parents are being urged to be cautious amid a burst of searing temperatures.
We put sunscreen on them before they go to kinder and school and make sure they've got the sunrise hats and sunrise rashy tops.
With research showing around 360,000 Victorian adults get sunburnt every summer weekend, the message of slip, slop and slap is aimed at everyone.
It might not look cool, but it definitely helps in the long run, and just things like sitting in the shade when you're not in the water.
On average, 6 Victorians are diagnosed with a melanoma every week, and experts say it's not just the younger generation.
Perhaps younger people are more involved in outdoor sports and things. And perhaps maybe are a little less likely to protect themselves. But it's interesting that the older people are the ones that perhaps are not having a good survival rate.
Doctors are advising anyone with a spot that has changed colour or shape to get it checked by a GP. Jonathan Kendall, Win News.
Police confiscated 2 cars under Hoon legislation in Traralgon Saturday night. The cars were caught doing burnouts in the town's new multi-storey car park. Independent member for Gippsland East Craig Ingram has received widespread support for his container deposit refund program. Mr Ingram says representatives from all the major parties joined yesterday's rally in Melbourne. And primary schools across the region are being urged to register for Walk Safely to School Day on May 2. The event aims to promote a lifestyle which is healthy and good for the environment. Formula One excitement is reaching fever pitch across regional Victoria as a Grand Prix rally makes its way around the state. About 20 cars driven by racing enthusiasts make up the travelling motor show, which is now gearing up for the big race in Melbourne on the weekend.
They may not be the professionals taking to the Grand Prix circuit, but they still have the same need for speed. The drivers tore up the skid pan at Shepparton's Decker complex and later opened up the engines along an airport runway.
Well, we're an official support event of the Australian Grand Prix. The cars will be travelling. It's basically a travelling motor show, promoting the Grand Prix as well as giving the competitors a chance to use their cars as they were intended.
Porsches, Mustangs, Clubmans and GTRs were all on show, but it seems they're not just boys' toys. The girls aren't afraid to drive full throttle either.
I like to try and beat the boys, but a lot of these guys are really good, so I have something to aim for and something to beat them.
The rally has made its way from Adelaide to Mildura and Shepparton and will make a quick stopover in Ballarat. On Saturday, the drivers will get to live the dream and complete a circuit of Albert Park.
Machines such as these are just such a buzz to take to their fullest capacity out on a racetrack or a motorcarna event.
In the 1,000 metre sprints, drivers push their cars to up to 260 kilometres per hour, but on public roads it's a different story.
No, they have to keep within the speed limit. There's no racing on the open road.
Catherine Sweeney, Win News.
Time now for sport. Gareth Hall.
Yes, thank you, Dennis. Good evening. Coming up tonight, the North Gippsland Football and Netball League prepares to lace up the boots, and Peter Giles proves he has the Midas touch.